This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf that is available and printed in 14 states at your local cannabis retailer. And it's also available online, dude, at leafmagazines.com. I'm Mike Ricker, your host of Leaf Life. Welcome. And here is my co-host, Wes Abney, who you also might know as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's AJ OG.
Hola, aloha OGs.
And Mary J. White.
Baked with love.
Welcome to the second half of this Leaf Life show called How to Be a Great Bud Tender. In just a moment, we'll discuss how knowledge is power in the weed biz. And we'll spin AJ's wheel to see what products ASHLEEN Aguilar, who is the co-founder of Take Root Training, a bud tender training company this show's Greg the Guinea Pig, is going to be trying next. But first it's time for Who Does That?
Really? You gotta be kidding.
No way!
Seriously?
Utterly perplexing.
Who does that?
Mary J. White, who's the knucklehead this time?
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, this isn't too knuckleheaded. Okay. Apparently, in a matter of mere months, these folks are expected to decide whether the drug, commonly known as ecstasy,
Love it.
can be used as treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder.
There you go.
Now, historically, in the early 80s, it was used as a therapeutic psychiatric drug, and then they figured out we were having too much fun, so now it's illegal. But anyway, an approval by this agency would represent an enormous milestone, right? Psychedelics, mainstream, mental health, we love this.
Yes.
Clinical trials they've been doing, and they're really inspired and optimistic, and this is actually our friends at the FDA.
Surprised?
Yeah. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah.
Well, the organization pushing it is called MAPS. And I
yeah,
don't remember
yeah.
what MAPS stands for,
Yes.
but they
Yeah.
are the ones really pushing the forefront on MDMA studies, and they've been doing clinical studies
Yes.
on this, showing it helps for PTSD, depression,
Yes.
as well as can make you feel really great.
Let me just tell you,
Yes.
though, a little tiny word of warning. On my first date with my second ex-husband, he says, "You like drugs?" I say, "What do you got?" He goes, "Ecstasy." I said, "Cool." So I have not even spent any time with this fella. We get very high and fall immediately in love.
Oh my.
As one does. He moved in 2 months later, and then we got fucking married.
Wow.
Wow,
And
what
then-
a kick.
And then you got
What a
divorced.
serious kick.
After 8 years.
Hey,
And
you
you
know, I
blame
watched...
Molly for that? Blaming the drugs?
I've been needing to get
Yeah.
married, so I might need some
yeah,
Molly.
get some
ecstasy,
Does
man.
anybody have a...
By the way,
Molly hookup?
now they call it Molly. Yeah, it used to be called
Oh,
ecstasy.
ecstasy.
Yeah.
You know, it's MDMA.
Yeah.
I was watching that Pamela Anderson documentary,
Yeah.
and she talked about how the first time she hooked up with Tommy Lee, they did
Ecstasy.
ecstasy,
Yeah.
ecstasy in Mexico,
I love it.
and that's where they hooked up, and it all started, which ended in a messy divorce. as we
Yeah,
know.
well, ours
two
too.
children. Thank you very much,
you're
Mary
so
J. White. That was a fun one. AJ, spin that wheel. Let's see what Ashleen's going to be hitting next.
All right. Here we go.
Zippity doo-dah day.
Right. So we've got this beautiful herb again from
Clarity Farms.
Clarity Farms, this sun-grown. Oh yeah, and I brought something special for us.
She has
actually.
chopsticks in her hair.
Yeah, I figured we might as well do it the old school. So when I first was in the Washington market, everything was pretty much dished out by chopstick.
AJ, you should be like a secret agent. You know what I mean? She just pulled chopsticks out of her hairdo.
Oh yeah, and it would help protect the terpenes and also keep your sticky fingers not sticky.
Yeah.
So yeah, we loaded this up for you, and this is a gelato, sun-grown
nice.
gelato.
From Toasted.
Yes, from Toasted.
She took the chopsticks out of her hair, picked the buds out of the jar with
Yeah.
the chopsticks,
Yeah.
and placed them delicately onto a jar lid and then into the piece.
It was beautiful.
Which she's now lighting with a hemp wick. And Ashleen is smoking. If you're on YouTube, go to Leaf Life Podcast V2 for our YouTube channel. You can see it all here. And I must say, that was a very highly curated methodology, AJ.
Yes, that is the true OG connoisseur way.
Wow.
Well, and AJ, can you keep other stuff in your hair?
Oh yeah,
Like-
there's nugs in there.
Ecstasy.
There's
Bird just came flying out of there.
There will soon be ecstasy. Ashley informed me there will soon be ecstasy in the bun. I am excited. We are getting married.
That's kind of like the Amy Winehouse bouffant, or what are they, pompadour?
that thing. Yeah, the
that
bouffant.
thing. Right on, AJ. All right,
Yeah.
hey, so let's do it. Knowledge is power. Obviously, AJ has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that fastidiousness of serving up a bong hit. But you know, when you're in this industry for 10, 15, 20 years like us, it becomes secondhand nature. But for someone who's just entering, it can be daunting because there is a ton of information and knowledge has to be earned, right? You don't just show up one day and put a chip in your brain. So you guys offer a great class for breaking into the industry.
That's right. We sure do. Root Knowledge is our online course that people can take, and you can get certified in all of the things that we were talking about in the first half, the product knowledge, the foundational cannabis science, and all of that. If you are not looking for another online course to do, we also just put out, or we're actually in the process of putting out our podcast called Talking Potheads, where for the first and second seasons, we're basically going along the curriculum of our course and bringing in experts and budtenders from across the country so they can speak to different markets and different experiences to talk about all of the things that budtenders need to know. So the first season went into the foundational cannabis science, the terpenes, how to choose product, how to guide somebody to choose a product, even product packaging and how to look at product packaging so that you can find the relevant information. So that first season's out. It's called Talking Potheads. It's on YouTube. It's wherever you can get your podcasts. And then our second season, which is going to dive more into product types, is coming out at the end of August.
Nice.
That's
Now, go ahead.
Well, it's coming.
exciting.
It's. You mean it's out already?
Yes. Oh, yeah, sure is. It's out already.
Now, have you
Cool.
worked at all with the Academy of Cannabis Science?
We have not. No, but I know about the Academy and I know about the good work that they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I only ask because that's I'm part of that, and and our classes are in all the colleges here in Seattle. But the thing I like about your program is you have other stuff,
Yeah.
like that coloring book.
Yes.
That's really
right.
cool.
Talk about that.
Can I
wanna-
show it? I
Oh,
brought it with me.
please.
Yeah.
Exciting. We got to
Yeah.
get to that YouTube channel,
So
y'all.
this is another really great way for anybody who is not trying to get into class to learn something about cannabis. This is the first in. Does anybody want to
That's
see?
neat.
That's
So it's
really
a-
cool.
Yeah.
Show it to us like a kindergarten classroom, Ricker.
I'm opening it up for the cameras.
Okay.
So we really wanted to find ways to educate budtenders that was meeting stoners where stoners are at. You know, that's not a class. It's fun coloring, right? Who doesn't like to get high and sit in color?
So here's a page of terpinolene with a bunch of outlined art that you can color in. Here's another page of linalool.
Oh
and
my
you learn,
goodness, I love
about it. So
this.
linalool
Exactly.
aroma is lavender and mint. The effects relaxes, soothes, calms. So it's educational as well as fun, like you said. Great job.
Really cool.
Exactly. And we
So
have
cool.
This is just the first one in our break room collection. We originally designed it for dispensary break rooms, so that so that budtenders can have it, right?
The break room collection.
Right.
High five.
I love.
They can be learning and coloring on their break, maybe instead of scrolling or whatever. So this is the first in our break room collection. The next one coming out later this summer is about the endocannabinoid system and how that all works.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, who are about to become bud tenders, the endocannabinoid system is a very important system in your body that's linked to your immune system. It was discovered in 1996, so it's vital information if you're recommending certain terpenes and cannabinoids.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely. We have a great episode of Talking Potheads with Dr. Cody Peterson from the Canigma and Dr. Riley Kirk from the Cannabis Research Coalition. And we have a bud tender named Shannon from the Herbery in Vancouver. We all talk about the endocannabinoid system and how it works. So if you're looking for more information, that episode's a really great resource.
I think what's great about your attitude and approach, and you said it off air, was that the more education, the better in terms of the community. And our policy at Leaf Magazine is anyone who's trying to start another magazine or an educational program or a podcast is good luck. And we really mean that because it's so hard. And one thing, whether it's in the psychedelics or the cannabis space, if someone's trying too hard to sell you on their version of something, they're trying to sell you.
Right.
They're not trying to teach you. And the vibes that I get from your program and just outlook on it all is that you're trying to lift people up.
Yes.
And it is about empowerment. And that is different than going to like Trump University where they're just going to take your money or DeVry and see you later. And not everyone's meant for college. And it's great that there are college courses popping up. That's something I think might be in my future is teaching some college courses at one point. But we're still not even quite there.
Yeah.
And so meeting people where they are, where they can do it at home. Maybe they're working another job and they're kind of unhappy. So they're learning about cannabis, trying to get started. And then something else you mentioned is just market to market or job to job. There are differences. Washington budtending is very different than Oregon simply because you can't open the jars or use chopsticks to serve the weed. Going from a grow even where you might know all about seed to sale in a grow is different than a bud tending position. So even if you know weed, you still have to learn to be a bud tender. So I think there's always opportunity for increased knowledge.
Yes.
And as, break room magazine, providers ourselves, that makes me feel encouraged because knowledge is power. That's how we have a stronger community that can advocate for positive change because we're not done with this process.
Truth.
Well, and one thing that's so interesting about educating in cannabis is that we're not just educating. We are fighting misinformation that has been going on since the 30s.
Yes.
And even before that.
I'm raising my fist to that.
You know what I mean? So it's not just about this is what, this terpene is. This is what linalool is. It's about how does this fit into the grand scheme of our society? And what information have people been pumping out that is completely incorrect that we know now that we discovered in the 90s what the endocannabinoid system is. We know so much more now. So it's about correcting the misinformation as well.
And we're lucky.
Well said, sis.
That weed was legalized pre-social media.
Yeah.
Because if you can imagine this era of fact checking and disinformation labels where we don't really know where those come from.
Yeah.
Imagine if in today's society we were trying to fight to legalize weed and you would post something like cannabis is medicine and they'd slap a disinformation sticker on it.
Yeah.
Like we really got lucky to legalize before the advent of social media, and now we can use it as a tool where we're still kind of oppressed. We're still shadow banned.
A lot oppressed.
We're still, limited.
A lot. Thank you. You're right.
But the word has gotten out,
Yeah.
Organically. And so they can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Right.
And that's why we, again, need more education. We need people fighting, not just to make money from the plant, but to spread it for the right reasons. Because this is how we heal the nation. This is how we heal the world.
Open up minds.
And for people coming into the industry, that knowledge is imperative if you want to stay in the industry.
Oh,
You can have a career in the cannabis world, but you've got to know that it's not just getting paid to party. It's education for people who underneath you who don't know anything about cannabis. And the more you know, and the more of a professional perspective you take to this industry and knowing that there's money here. It's a big business and it's only going to get bigger and unfortunately more corporate, but there is a place for you in it. And the smarter you can be, the more of an advocate you can be and part of this growing family. And that's what it's going to take to keep the culture alive. So ASHLEEN, now it's time for you to play hippopotamus or rhinoceros.
And now, hippopotamus
I'm a hippopotamus. I look like your mom.
or rhinoceros.
Hi, I'm a rhino. Mary, stop looking at my horns so longingly.
Here's Ricker.
Oh, no.
Mary, are you looking at the rhinoceros horn?
Not now.
Mary, the horn is on top of its head, not behind its stomach.
I was looking in the wrong place.
Is it like a tentacle almost?
All right, ASHLEEN, this is a new one. Hippopotamus or rhinoceros? Here we go. Number one. This animal kills over 500 people a year and is known to be the deadliest land animal on the planet. Hippopotamus or rhinoceros?
Oh.
Hippopotamus.
It's correct. Yeah, the hippo actually, is a land animal as well. It's both. They kill between 500 to 3,000 people every year and are considered the deadliest large land mammal in the world.
Wow.
They've been known to tip over boats in defense in the water, mistaking the vessels for predators. And they have a bite force of 1,800 psi, which is almost 3 times that of a lion.
Do you know they can run so fast they become airborne for 5 seconds?
Is that true?
Truth. Truth.
Oh,
I want to see that in person.
No, you don't.
Look it up.
They're superheroes, like real living superheroes amongst the animal community, you guys.
Oh, wow.
I guess. Yeah.
All right, number
high
2.
thoughts.
This animal is known for having very poor vision. Hippopotamus or rhinoceros?
Rhinoceros?
Correct.
Yay!
Nice.
Because their eyesight isn't great, they rely on their strong sense of smell. In fact, they would find it difficult to see a motionless person at a distance of 100 feet.
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
there you go.
Good to know.
Easy to escape a rhinoceros.
Yes.
Yeah, just don't move.
Yeah.
The bearded lorax would be able to sneak by.
Yeah.
a rhino.
Absolutely.
Stealth.
Well, not with the scent. Yes.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Number 3. Who would win in a fight? A hippopotamus or a rhinoceros?
Ooh, hippopotamus.
That's incorrect.
Oh, I was sure.
A rhinoceros is stronger than a hippo. It has tougher skin and a long and sharp horn, as Mary knows. It's also faster than hippos. The best chance for a hippo to win in a fight over a rhino is if they were in deep water.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Now, it's important to note that neither would win a fight against a mature male bearded lorax. In fact, a tourist on an African safari once snapped an unbelievable photo of a bearded lorax holding his arms over his head while hoisting a hippo in one hand and a white rhino in the other. It's also important to note that neither of these animals were injured, as the bearded lorax strangely appeared to be the only one posing for the photo before placing them back down on the Serengeti and disappearing into the bush to lead the entire pride while riding on the back of a grown male lion.
Wow.
That's true. That picture exists. Just look it up on the internet.
It's a great visual
find that
too,
one.
man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gotta go to DuckDuckGo for that one.
Hey, Ashleen, where can we find you on social media?
You can find us at Chronic Gals _420, which is...
Chronic Gals?
Yes, and we didn't even talk about Chronic Gals, but that was my first foray into podcasting in the cannabis industry. So you can find us there. Me and my sister,
Chronic Gals?
at Chronic Gals _420.
Gotcha.
And then also at Take Root Training on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and then also we just started our TikTok, which is take.root.trainin with no G.
And you personally?
And me personally, I am also on Instagram, queen.ashleen.
Oh, that's perfect. Right.
Thank you so much for being on the Leaf Life podcast.
It's been a blast. Thanks for having me.
People go out there and get a Budtender gig.
That's right.
But first, take the
right.
course. Hey, Wes, next week, check this one out. West Coast Clusterfuck.
It really is not Surfing USA here on the West Coast.
Download this and all Leaf Life episodes at leafmagazines.com. And please subscribe on YouTube at Leaf Life Podcast V2. Now get ready for another episode of Stony Baloney, which is also available at leafmagazines.com. And please be kind to animals and hippopotamuses and rhinoceroses.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies. Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Maryland Leaf, Amsterdam Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer. Now, please stay tuned for this week's edition of Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
the purse. Ladies, you've got it all figured out. All hell could be breaking loose, but so long as you're armed with that imperative satchel that keeps your vitals accessible, you'll always be ready for the world. This is your most necessary accessory, accentuating the confidence that proves you're an irreplaceable badass. And one purse is not enough. Only one cannot ensure your command of any room's attention. Because with reasons and seasons in constant flux, your ability to adjust to any given outing is critical for your interchangeable persona that presents your unavoidable qualities to the scrutinizing public. In your woman cave, there hangs the quiver of handbags that typify extensions of your character. Different, exciting versions of you that either offer cohesion or contrast with the varying surroundings. Sometimes you will blend, other times create distinction to an otherwise bland landscape. Either way, these carry-alls help you to turn super into superlative. And when it's time to turn things up, like the stitching in and of itself, your look is seamless. It is usually with great intention that this wing thing is chosen, as if each was specially designed for your evolving moods. It exemplifies your womanly power, completing the statement that you're always intending to make. It is the cherry that perfects the sundae, the rabbit in the moon, Mona Lisa's smirk. Like her, you hold your mysteries close. And should anyone attempt to ambush you into divulging the wondrous secrets that are yours alone, the lips will slightly pucker, while the stunned onlooker futilely wonders how to tap the hidden spring that spouts your charm. What lies inside this clutch is part of that mystery, the perfect shade of lipstick, the dramatic mascara, a feminine product. But almost more importantly, the cartridge of vaporizable oil, which lights the wick to the Roman candle that explodes into the eager night, sprinkling your unique stardust into the otherwise black sky.
Stony Baloney. Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker and Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.